surgeon at Liverpool Hospital. Is that correct? A spinal orthopaedic surgeon for Liverpool Hospitals and also a teacher at the university there. And he now practices non-surgical techniques mainly for joint and bone problems. So, are you ready? We'd like to welcome to the stage Mr. Jordan.
Thanks for the invitation, and thanks for coming to listen to what I'm going to talk. I don't want it to be a didactic lecture. I want it to be an interactive session. So it is two-way. You can stop me anytime. You can ask me any questions. You can ask me any doubts. I may have answers for your questions. I may not have answers for your questions. If I don't have an answer, I'll honestly tell you I don't know. I'll try to find out and give you an answer maybe later. And that's what I do to my medical students or even junior doctors. Just to give you an intro of myself, I'm going to talk to you about free from pain. That doesn't mean pain is going to completely disappear, but that's what I'm hoping to talk to you about. And this is where I work. I work at Royal Liverpool Hospitals. I work as staff. I work part-time there. I also work as a clinical teacher in the School of Medicine at the University of Liverpool. So I do a role. Plus, in addition, I do a lot of private work. I stopped, though I'm an orthopedic surgeon, I've stopped doing interventional work. So I treat people, I save them from operations. You may think operations are great. That's what I did for a lot of years, for 25 years. But then I've decided, no, operations, yes, they are good, it is necessary, but some operations are wasteful and actually do more harm. Everything shiny and bright is not necessarily good. Same way, every operation may not be good. And spinal operations, 1 in 5 will land up in disaster. So maybe less of it, only if you require an operation should you have an operation. And certainly it may look fantastic, and then maybe, sometimes you don't know who is behind any promotion. You may think, oh, it's the best thing that is, since sliced bread. But is it really the best thing since sliced bread? We've got to really, is there any evidence backing it? Is there no evidence? And then there are many issues here, so you have to really consider. So I am quite anti-surgery, but that doesn't mean I'm not saying that surgery is bad. You've got to be careful. There are questions you need to raise if you're going to have surgery. One, what are the benefits? What are the risks? What if I do nothing? Or are there any alternatives? This is what is recommended by the Association of Foreign Medical Colleges. So don't just because a good-looking surgeon is telling you have an operation, don't do it and have an operation. I'll show you some examples of that. And I want you to stop me, interact with me, and tell me, Jackie, if I'm going over the time limit, tell me to stop. I have verbal diarrhea, so stop me. So in addition to this, I also have a small commercial venture. It's called Feet and Spine. That is my disclosure. In Liverpool, we do have a clinic and a shop. We sell, orthotics, insoles, shoes. Shoes. When I say shoes, 95% of the world's shoes serve the eye. 5% of the world's shoes serve the feet. So we sell shoes that serve the feet. So maybe many ladies here may not like our footwear. And we also sell ergonomic chairs and sit-stand tables. So many things which are, useful for back pain and foot pain and musculoskeletal problems. And this is our shop. It's very close to the cruise terminal in Liverpool. So if you come by a cruise, you can find our clinic very easily. And it's right next to St. Nicholas Church. St. Nicholas Church is on the it was on the Mersey River, but now everything moved land. So previously, 100 years ago, when fishermen used to go out to the sea, they would come to St. Nicholas Church, pray, and then go out to the sea. So we're very close to St. Nicholas Church. So these are my disclosures. As I said, I have a commercial interest in feet and spine. I'm also a research consultant for a company called Atrix. I've taken research and they make orthotics. So these are my disclosures. Now, what is free from pain? Free from pain is an acronym. It stands for fear reduction, exercise early, food from plants, rest and relaxation, organization. That's a mouthful. Motivation, pain to decrease, to help with pain from arthritis and to increase natural strength. That is an acronym, and that's what it means. And I have written some, 1 or 2 self-help books. I'm in the process of writing this book, Free from Pain. Plan B is a book that I've written, and as it stands, again an acronym. I like acronyms maybe. Stands for back and neck discomfort, relief with altered release, intelligent posture. I have a copy for all of you, but unfortunately I left it in the hotel. I just realized when I got here. But when Michael is speaking, I'll go and get the copy of the book for you. It's not a big book. It's small booklet which has got exercises to help you with neck pain and back pain. Slightly different philosophy than what you would have, maybe experienced so far. So maybe it's worthwhile having a flick through it. Now, the basic thing back pain I'm saying is we need to party away back pain. And these are the things we need to do: Pilates, aqua exercises, running, Tai Chi, yoga. These are the fun ways to make back pain better. And that's why this is what I'm calling party back pain away. So what am I going to talk to you about? What is free from pain all about? So is it okay? Do you think I need to change, or you're able to understand me? Yeah? Any change required? You could stop me and tell me I'm rubbish. Come on. You feel free. Okay. Anything you want to take or ask a question, stop me. It's an interactive session. There is no stupid question. No stupid questions. So please feel free to stop me. So blue zones was something, I don't know whether you know about blue zones. Blue zones was identified by Dan Buettner in 2005. Dan Buettner was a National Geographic journalist, and he identified about 5 places in the world where people lived for 100 years and died happily. That is what we found. People were living for 100 years and they were not spending a lot on health system. They didn't have an NHS, they didn't have all the money that we are spending, and they don't have shiny instruments to do operations, and still they were living for 100 years and happily. So what is the essence of longevity? And that is blue zones. And he identified the 5 areas. So the 5 areas were Okinawa in Japan, Icaria in Greece, Sardinia in Italy, Loma Linda in America, in California, in Nicoya. And these are pockets of influence, And if you take Loma Linda, this in the whole vast country of America, life expectancy is 80 years. But in Loma Linda, life expectancy is 94. So why that significant difference? And that is what we look at. Loma Linda is in Southern California. Actually, it's a very controlled part of America. There are a lot of Seventh-day Adventists who live there. And Seventh-day Adventists control the whole structure of Loma Linda. That Seventh-day Adventists are a group of Christians who believe that the Sabbath is on Saturday. The US Post wouldn't deliver post on a Saturday in Loma Linda, but recently they have started. That much the church controls Loma Linda. In the Walmart in Loma Linda, you can't have meat, you can't have alcohol. Some Seventh-day Adventists, there are Seventh-day Adventists do check, but generally they don't promote taking meat as well as they don't promote taking alcohol. And that is why in Loma Linda, suddenly you find life expectancy of 94. The rest of the world, the USA is 80 is life expectancy. So there is some significant difference in the blue zones. So the 9 principles of blue zones are here. This is by Dan Buettner. Moderate level of physical activity, purpose in life, stress reduction, moderate calorie intake, plant-based diet, moderate alcohol. He said, have a glass of red wine. Engagement in spirituality or religion, engagement in family life, and engagement in social life. So from these 9 principles, I'll try to extract 5 that are relevant for musculoskeletal or bone or joint problems. And the 5 are these: moderate life purpose. And it is from this 5 that I have devised free from pain and gives you what is known as a 5-star health. That's my new buzzword, if you can say. Plant-based diet, rest and sleep, purpose or ikigai. And we come to each one of this: exercise and family and friends. I will be dwelling more on, a little bit I will dwell on exercise, rest and purpose, but mainly I'm going to dwell on plant-based food and exercise. Plant-based food and exercise, what I'll be dwelling on most. Rest and sleep, purpose, and a little bit I'll text, so you have some idea of those also. And please repeat what I say. If you have to stop me, interrupt me, gives me a breather and ask me a question. It also makes me think. So, why is all this important? Because the checkout has to be important. What is the checkout? It is what on earth. We checked it when we were born. We got to check out when we die. There are 2 ways. There is a painless checkout and a painful checkout. So in Okinawa, the 98-year-old is still working. He's maybe looking after a plot of land, teaching his great-grandchild mathematics, going to bed and sleeping in his death. It's a painless checkout from total earth. What happens in Britain? At 65 we retire, our social interaction suddenly contracts. And then slowly family come and see them only Easter and Christmas. And then after that, at late 60s you break your wrist, 70s you break your back, 80s you break your hip. Sorry, I'm not presenting a very bad picture, but this is the reality. 80 you break your hip, you get admitted, have a hip operation, have a painful death. 1/3 of the people who have a hip fracture over the age of 75 will die within the first year. So it's a painful, I'm telling you all the truth and statistics. So, is it better to live in Okinawa and die happily, or have a painful checkout? It is, after all, the way you check out on a 4-day earth that matters. So, sometimes I don't know modern medicine, whether it serves sufferers or whether it serves shareholders. I really wonder. I really wonder. And I'd like your views on it. Why? This is a patient of mine. You look at the painkillers, paracetamol, an actual prescription given by a GP. And I don't blame the GP. This is reality. Paracetamol, tramadol, pregabalin, nortriptyline, itraconazole. All anti-inflammatories or painkillers. And a lot of my patients in my clinic, I'm in the hospital, I don't work as a GP. So if I look at their prescriptions, they all discontinue. So then what happens is, you go to your GP, it is pills. Second time, more pills. Third time, some more pills. Fourth time, even some more pills. And this is what happens. You see him first, or see him or her first. That's pill 1. If you see him in 6 or 7 months, pill 1 plus 2. See him in 13 months, pill 1, 2, 3. 19 months, pill 1, 2, 3 and 4. Does it strike a chord with any one of you? Or is this not reality? Am I? So then, are we curing? There is no evidence that medicines like this help at all. And recently, I don't know, this is in April, one of the Rochester Drug Cooperative, one of the big companies that make fentanyl in America, the owners have been arrested, the chief executive officer has been arrested because they were found to be making doctors prescribe fentanyl when it was not required. Now, doctors are also culpable, but they've left off the doctors. So this is the chief executive of the drug corporation. This is a drug lord who dishes out cannabis on the street corner. What's the difference? One is suited, or maybe he is also suited. And they are both peddling pills and making addicts. They are not solving a problem, are they? So that's why, and doctors are also equally culpable. In America, they have left the doctors, but doctors are also equally culpable in the same case. So this is what we are dished out with. So you've got to really read through, is this the solution? Is it science? Is this science? So this is what research shows when you give the non-cancer pain. So what we are dealing with is non-cancer pain. Where pill 1, pill 2, pill, the same lady whom I showed. There is lack of evidence supporting in chronic pain. There is no demonstrable evidence suggesting that this helps. So if a solution doesn't help, are you just going to make addicts out of them? That's what's happening. So what do we do? What is plant-based diet? So let's look at the alternatives, and that's what I hope to explore today. I'm not going to give you answers, but I'm hoping to make you think on a new line so that you will have a better understanding of different things, a different perspective. You can ask your doctor. Everything that I say today is research. If you want anything, a research paper supporting that, send me an email and I will send you a research paper or through Jackie. So everything is research. There's no gibberish or rubbish. Everything from literature, from published literature that I'm quoting to. So 5-star. This is what God gives, but this is what Tesco gives. I think it's Tesco, it could be Morrison's or Asda or Sainsbury's. But this is, so from what was natural, we converted and it is an ultra-processed food. An ultra-processed food is bad, full stop. We need to try to eat as much unprocessed food. But when you say processing, it is very difficult because everything is processed. Some meats are again ultra-processed. Bacon, ham, and these are more processed than normal meat. Normal meat in a curry is okay, but once it is processed and it's an industrial production, that is when it becomes ultra-processed because it needs a long shelf life. So as long as they have made additives to it to increase the shelf life, there are problems. So that is where ultra-processing comes. So I want to talk to you about Dr. John Harvey Kellogg. He's the one who started plant-based meals in health as a health base in US. So he was in Michigan. He's also a Seventh-day Adventist, and prior to that, the staple diet of breakfast was bacon and eggs in US. But he said, no, we should have a corn-based, and obviously that developed into a big corporation, Kellogg's. But unfortunately, they have slightly gone over, and sometimes the sugar in these cornflakes are worse than yes, it is good they are corn, and it's good that it is plant-based, but they've gone the other way by adding a lot of sugar. So as long as it is corn-based, it is good, but the sugar actually causes damage. Right from the beginning, Hippocrates is known as the father of medicine. We doctors knew plant-based food was good. Hippocrates said, let food be thy medicine through food. And Before said, what you eat could be your relief or could be your poison. So that right from the beginning, from Hippocrates, we knew that eating is what would make good food or good health or bad health. And how do you identify ultra-processed? So there is a NOVA system. NOVA is not an acronym. No, a group of dietitians in Brazil got together and decided we need to identify how to differentiate between plant, ultra-processed and non-processed. So they discovered NOVA. And it's very simple. So on the top row, you have unprocessed food, and on the bottom row, or minimally processed food. Because understand, if I take an apple that has fallen down from the tree in my garden, I wash it and eat it. I have processed it. By washing, I have processed it. Because gorillas fed with sterilized vegetables will actually develop B12 deficiency. Gorillas that pick up the fruit from the ground and eat it because the soil in the ground has saprophytes which make B12. So if you take fruit from the ground and directly eat it, you won't have B12 deficiency. Whereas if you sterilize it, you'll get B12 deficiency. So even if you wash it, you're processing it. But here you can see what is unprocessed and what is ultra-processed. So this is a mango, unprocessed or minimally processed if you wash it. But as soon as it becomes an ice popsicle, it has to have a long shelf life. There are additives to it, it becomes ultra-processed. Next is different grains, whole grains, unprocessed. But as soon as it becomes cornflakes with sugar, it becomes ultra-processed. Next is an ordinary meat curry. That's fine, minimal processing, minimal ingredients, made fresh, not to last on the shelf for 6 months. But this burger served in your fast food restaurant has a long shelf life, has additives so that it won't get bad, and that is what makes it processed. Water, unprocessed, very good, but as soon as it has soda and sugar and other additives to make it last its shelf life, it becomes ultra-processed. So that is the division, and NOVA has given a ranking. I'm not going to go into the ranking of what would be ultra-processed and unprocessed or minimally processed. But if you search for NOVA, you will have all the details on or you can find them on Google or anywhere. So what?
It's just on the process side, the process of an apple thing, this will be slightly processed. But the trouble is in today's world, there's still spraying going on, so that's where, I tend to wash fruit because the spray is that wrong.
No, that is not wrong. No, I understand. If you had apples in your back garden and you were not spraying it, then you can eat it like that. But obviously, you buy it in the supermarket, they not even spray it, they will wax it because it has to look shiny in your eyes. As I said, people want to buy shoes that serve the eye. They want to buy apples that look good to the eye, not good for the stomach. That's how humans are. And so you have to have some processing. You can't. So these are the conditions that are held by a whole plant-based diet. Now, But even in a vegan, there is a vegan pyramid, even if you're going completely vegan. And believe me, I'm not a complete vegan. It is a journey. It's a journey, and if you are not a vegan, you're not committing the biggest sin. I'm not a vegan. I'm trying to be. It's a journey. I'm a doctor, but I used to smoke. 20 years ago, I gave up smoking. And when I gave up smoking, my weight increased by 20 kilograms. And from then on, I've not been able to shed. I tried. I'm mainly vegan, but I occasionally have meat-based. Very difficult to shed weight, and I will discuss why shedding weight becomes a problem for lots of us. That is, it's like a yo-yo. Shed 5 kilograms, and I put it on. And I'm sure it rhymes with a lot of you also the same principle. But I see Jackie, how did she have such a fantastic figure maintaining weight? So even in the vegan pyramid, there is some foods like the avocado and the nuts. They have high calories. You cannot consume a lot of it. But things like vegetables and fruits, you need to have more of it. And then you have the cereals or grains. That's also there is a pyramid you need to follow even in the vegan meal. Vegan diet and heart. This work, there's lots of work. I'm just showing you some work by Esther. And Esther provided this work, and he showed that people who were taking a whole plant-based food had their heart problems reversed. Heart problems reversed. They didn't have stenting, they didn't have a bypass, but the heart problems were reversed. So this is the arch, the coronary arch by angiogram. So you can see this is the blood supply of the heart. So heart has got a blood supply, and that's the coronary arch. And that is blocked by this block. Can you see that? And after they have been on a whole plant-based meal, after 2 years, that has become without taking any other medication, without having a stent, without having an operation. So whole food plant-based can reverse arterial disease in the heart. He has shown that, and there are different work by lots of other authors. If you're going to buy a book, one good book I would recommend is How Not to Die by Michael Greger. I don't know whether some people may have it. How Not to Die is an excellent book. He's a doctor from US, and he explains exactly, and he's got a lovely website, nutritionalfacts.org, which gives you a lot of information about plant-based food. But there is this myth, if you eat plants, you can't get the protein. I need the protein. I need beef, because that's where the protein is. That's a myth. That's a myth. Actually, calorie by calorie, not weight by weight, calorie by calorie, broccoli has more protein than beef. It's not weight by weight, it's calorie by calorie. So about 500 grams of broccoli has 11.1 gram equivalent to 100 grams, but 100 grams has 100 calories. So if you think like calorie to calorie, broccoli has more. But the volume of broccoli you need to eat for the protein is slightly, is greater than what you need to eat beef. But you don't need that excess protein. You don't have, I will show you why you don't need that excess protein. You look at all these animals. Yeah, sorry.
Are we getting the full spectrum of amino acids from the doctor's perspective?
Yes. Yes. You look at this, and some vitamins you will not get anywhere, so you will have to, you need. You look at all these animals. The bull, the hippopotamus, the elephant, the horse, the rhino. They are big animals, aren't they? Are they on burgers and steak for lunch? How did they get their strength? Not by eating burgers, by eating grass. So all the large land animals eat grass and get their strength from that. So it's a myth that protein cannot be, accumulated by eating a herbivorous diet. And if you look, this is a very good research done in China, and it's a nutritional study, because nutrition is important, protein is important as you grow old. As you grow old, we become smaller, our muscle mass decreases. The fat may remain, but muscle mass decreases. But we need to prevent that as you become older. So when you're old and when the muscle mass decreases, it's called sarcopenia, and that has to be prevented. And sarcopenia can be prevented if you take a lot more proteins. And this study showed whether you're taking meat or whether you're taking plant-based, it doesn't matter. You will still acquire proteins if you're taking adequate amounts. So if you want higher protein, yes, you don't eat broccoli, you have peanut butter sandwiches. Yeah? Or you have avocados or nuts. Nuts have or pulses, so they have a higher protein content. So when I say broccoli, you can't have a whole only plate of broccoli. You need to have a rainbow diet. You need a plate which is colorful. And when you have a colorful plate, then obviously you got all the ingredients there. So this is what that study showed, that whether it came, whatever the source, it was good. And when you look at evolution, were we programmed to eat meat? Maybe not. J. Lo, she's a vegan, and she says that her good looks is because she's a vegan. That's why I'm not yet good looking, you see. Now, if you look at all the carnivores, they have canines, they have long canines. Do we have them? So that means if God or evolution created us, either they made a mistake or we should not be eating meat. So it looks like we should not, we are not genetically engineered to eat meat. There are actually 5 different. There is a carnivore, there is an omnivore, there is a herbivore, there is a frugivore, and there are humans. And this gives the real reason why you need to take more or plant-based rather than meat-based. A carnivore, so intestine is not a direct tube from here to here. It is a direct tube, but goes round and round and round and round, circles a lot. So intestines are long. For the carnivore and the omnivore, the intestine is 3 times the body length. For a herbivore, the intestine is 20 times the body length. So if you have to take plant-based, you need to have a longer intestine. But we are like a frugivore, like chimpanzees, our closest cousin, or gorillas. Both of these have 9 times the body length. So here it is 3 times, here it is 20 times, and here it is 9 times. So we are not going to eat grass, but like our cousins and chimpanzees, we need to be eating fruits and nuts. A frugivorous diet. That's how genetic or evolution programmed us. So fruits and nuts and some vegetables which we get. That is what our system is. And you must understand the length matters, because for a human being, something which goes in here takes about 3 days to come out there. Yeah. For a carnivore, it is within a day, because the length is only 3 times the body length. We are 9 times. For a herbivore, it may be 2 or 3 days. Now, it takes for us human 3 days. Imagine you make a burger, you cook it well, you leave it outside for 3 days. How is it going to look? And that's what happens to your burger as it goes through, isn't it? Whereas if you take broccoli or salad and leave it out, it may look a bit dull in color, but in 3 days it is not becoming poisonous, and things are not, bad things are not yet growing on it. So again, it is important, what we eat. Then the carnivores swallow their food. They don't digest, they don't chew their food, they try to swallow. And when they drink, they lap. That's the characteristic. Whereas all the herbivore and frugivore drink, suck the fluids in. And we have, just like the frugivore, the chimpanzees, we have a carbohydrate digesting enzyme in our saliva. So we are meant to be taking carbohydrates. So I don't agree with the keto diet. I know some people may be using keto diet, because we need to take carbohydrates. Otherwise, why did God or evolution give us the pituitary in us, saliva? The carnivore doesn't have it. So that's because we are taking, sweets like fruits or, so that's why we need that enzyme in our mouth. So evolution. And the carnivore cannot do this side to side movement. Only the herbivore and the humans can do, so we can chew the food. They don't chew the food. The hydrochloric acid in their tummy, all of us have hydrochloric acid, but their acid is 9 times as strong as our acid. Because they are taking the meat directly, they need to cook it in their stomach. So our acid is only 3 times, same way as the herbivore's acid is only 3 times. So there is a definite link. We look like we are more herbivore or frugivore than we are a carnivore. So, like pills and pills, what's the alternative for people on cold plant-based? These are the alternatives. Turmeric. Turmeric has fantastic anti-inflammatory properties that some evidence suggests that it's as good as ibuprofen. Ginger. Ginger is good. Chopped ginger, again it is anti-inflammatory, good for arthritis. So if you chop ginger and put it into any vegetables, it is going to spice up your food. Sesame seeds. Some are allergic to sesame, but if you are not allergic to sesame, then sesame snaps is a good snack that you can have. There is evidence that it takes away pain from arthritis. Last but not the least, whole food plant-based. And I'll tell you how whole. Yeah. Well, the evidence shows that actually the root turmeric is better than what you get it in a capsule. But whether the heating takes off, I am not 100% certain, but the effect of both is the same is my understanding. Yeah, very good. If it's hot or cold, yes. Because what the recommendation is to take turmeric as a latte, and you get the same anti-inflammatory properties because you're boiling the milk with turmeric. So it's a good question. I will try to. But what they say is the root is better than what comes in a capsule. I've never been asked this question. I'll try to find out. So turmeric, as I said, curcumin, and some you call it maybe turmeric. I call it turmeric, maybe my Indian accent. So it's good. It's used there in Indian curries, but also you can make it as a latte. So if you are interested how to make a turmeric latte, look at BBC Good Food, and there is a turmeric latte recipe given there. How does these whole food plant-based? Let me give you an example. How does this whole food plant-based diet help with am I with it? Am I okay? Okay. So how does it alter? It is because of our gut, and I will show you what happens in our gut and how good fiber helps. So, in general, from what we know from blue zones is generally, if you make a small poo, you will have big hospitals. Whereas if you have big poo, you will have small hospitals. So the principle is you need to have a big poo. So how big poo? So this is how it does. This is your large intestine. You can have every part, but I'll just show you the large intestine. This is the ascending colon, the transverse colon, the descending colon, the rectum and the anus. This is the exit point. Now I've again taken only a segment of the large intestine to show you. So in this large intestine, you eat a lot of fruits and nuts and vegetables. You will have a lot of fiber. Yeah. And when there is fiber, we get the good bugs. Because the good bugs like the fiber. And the good bugs are there, and when there are good bugs, they protect you. My skin surface, we think we are only exposed to what our skin is exposed to. No, my outside skin is only 1.8 square meters. Whereas if I take my whole gut and lay it flat, it is 2 tennis courts. And anything I eat gets exposed to such a wide surface area. So there are these good bacteria. The good bacteria are sentient. They prevent bad things from coming. So when occasionally bad bacteria come, they can't survive. The good bacteria kill them off. In competition, they lose. So we are protected by having a lot of fiber and making a good food. But if you eat a burger, it's so good, nutritionally, fully sound, and hence you absorb it. There is nothing that goes into your large intestine. Because everything is good, you take it in. So there is nothing for your bacteria in our intestines. So the fiber is less. Because the fiber is less, our friends are less. And because our friends are less, our enemies multiply. So they are a lot in our digestive system. Now they are not directly, don't think you're going to get diarrhea from it. Those are pathogens. These are not pathogens. There is a different microbe, that's all. You're not going to get diarrhea from having these. That is a completely different thing. But these could now enter your system. And when it enters your system, your body's white blood cells will fight it and destroy it. Okay, one has gone, that was destroyed. Another one escapes, and that is also destroyed by the body's white cells. But then, what happens? It's not the pathogen that directly causes a problem. Your white cells will now cause a problem. And that is called molecular mimicry. And what is molecular mimicry? Let me explain. Near my house, I walk out of the house one day, a man in a green shirt comes and attacks me. Okay, I escape from that attack. 10 days later or 2 months later, again when I walk out of the house and another man in a green shirt comes and attacks me. I now get programmed that anyone with a green shirt is an enemy. So from now on, I see anyone with green, I attack him before he attacks me. I have been programmed. Our warrior cells in our body gets programmed like that. Fighting with these new microbes, our body thinks anything in this configuration we need to fight. And these are all proteins. We have proteins that mimic these microbes. So the same, our proteins may be wearing the green shirt. Hope I'm able to explain it clearly. So our joints may have this green shirt. So our warrior cells fight with the joints. And that is how we get autoimmune arthritis. Our warrior cells will fight with the lung. And then we get asthma and allergies. So it is our own warrior cells which are doing a friendly fire because suddenly they have been programmed to do new things and they think, oh, everything green is bad. Just like how the 2 green men who attacked me has programmed me. And that is what happens, and that is molecular mimicry, and that is what happens. So to prevent all that, you need to have a whole plant-based diet. And whole plant-based diet is a work by Chelsea Clinton. Actually, Chelsea Clinton is Bill Clinton's daughter. She did some excellent work on how for osteoarthritis, whole food plant-based. And the study showed that people who had a decrease in levels of pain. I can send you this article if you want, it's available for you. And the main purpose is, if you take a plant-based, they do not contain arachidonic acid, whereas all meat-based contains a lot of arachidonic acid. And arachidonic acid is the precursor for inflammatory products inside the body. So you are actually giving the fuel for the body to make inflammation. Whereas if you take a whole food plant-based, you are not giving that fuel. Again, fibromyalgia, the work by Cartin and Nettar had shown that having a plant-based meal again helps with fibromyalgia. Your weight got reduced on a plant-based diet. So some I will slightly skip. Sorry. Now, just to talk on bugs, this is an Indian ad, but you will recognize the ad for this. I hope it starts. Okay. So basically, this ad talks of the mother being pregnant with a baby and the child telling the father that he has to use Dettol, and they use Dettol, and it goes to say that if you use Dettol, it is so good, and families that use Dettol live happily and have less diseases. That is rubbish. Because we need some bugs. An over-sanitized world will actually cause problems. Every bug is not our enemy. Every bug is not our enemy. We need to live together. It's like every other European country's our enemy is crazy. They have humans, we need, so something like that. Bugs, there are good bugs too. And there are bad bugs. But that doesn't mean Dettol is the solution or over-sanitized. So I have to show this is interesting. Slightly, bugs are so good that there are 2 types of babies. Babies born through vaginal delivery and babies born through cesarean section. Babies born through cesarean section are completely in a sterile environment. They are in an operating theatre. They don't have to deal with bugs at all. Whereas imagine the babies born through vaginal delivery. They come out through the muck. Who do you think lives healthily? The vaginal delivery. They have better infection fighting capabilities. They have the ability and less allergies in them. Right from the word go, their face is in that muck for a few hours. Sorry, it is the truth. That's not, and then they come out. But they need that seedling. That's so much so now they are trying to do experiments where cesarean sections, they are taking the vaginal swab from the mothers and putting it on the baby's face. Not baby cream, not Johnson's baby cream. That is what babies need. But don't do it at home, sorry. And this book by two microbiologists say it very clearly. Let them eat dirt. Children need to play in muck and eat the dirt. It is important. Cleaning them in an over-sanitized world harms them. So now coming a little bit on exercise. Sorry, I'm probably 15 minutes. Exercise. We are sometimes scared, and people are scared of exercise when they have arthritis. Let me tell you the story of my friend she's got claustrophobia. As a child, she went to a seaside resort in UK with her parents and her older brother. So they were in a bed and breakfast. The father and mother went out, left the older brother and the little girl in the room. In that room was a huge chest. The older brother was a bit naughty. He told her, "Why don't you try climbing into the chest? Let's play a game." Unsuspectingly, this little girl climbed into the chest and the older brother shut the chest. She was terrified, banged on the door. He was laughing. 5 minutes of terror inside the chest. Luckily, the parents came, opened, released her. Only 5 minutes, but it has scarred her for life. She is claustrophobic. She can't get into a lift. I came to know of this only because when I sent her for an MRI scan, she said she can't have an MRI scan because MRI scan is a closed container. They are claustrophobic. So even a 5-minute experience can scar you for life, and that's what happens. So kinesiophobia. Kinesiophobia is not claustrophobia, it's a fear of movement. You move, it hurts, you think movement is bad, you don't move, the muscles become weak. And that's where the vicious cycle. But movement is important. Let me show you in the lower back how movement is important. This is your section of your lower back where lots of people will have back pain. This is one block of bone, another block of bone, and this is your disc. The disc does not have blood supply. There are lots of parts of the body which doesn't have a blood supply. The front of the eye doesn't have blood supply. Because if it had blood supply, you would be seeing everything red. So, and because it doesn't have a blood supply, we need to keep blinking. As children, we play the game, who will blink first, but we have to give up, we have to blink. Same way, our discs do not have a blood supply. So the vertebrae need to move. If the vertebrae do not move, there is no nutrition for the disc. So it's important that the vertebrae are moving. And it is this movement that is pumping the water in the disc and taking out the CO2 and pumping in the oxygen. So that movement is essential. But this is what has happened. We are chained to a chair. We do office work in 8 hours we are sitting. 1 hour of sitting is equivalent to smoking 1 cigarette. Research has shown that 1 cigarette takes away 11 minutes of your life. Sitting for 1 hour takes away 11 minutes of your life. Sitting is the smoking of the current generation. Just like the eye we need to close, we need to move our backs too. And sitting has exponentially increased. Initially when we were farming, there was some sitting. With the Industrial Revolution, there was some further sitting. But with the Internet Revolution, sitting has exponentially increased. In my younger days, if I had to date my wife, I could go out and ask her for a dance. Now you don't need to do that. You don't need to get up and dance with a girl. You can just do it online. So simple. So that's why the sitting increases. And how does sitting harm? Sorry, did you put up your hand? No, sorry. This is the cross-section of your lower back. So this is the vertebrae. So it's a cross-section like this. This is the vertebrae. This is the canal. And these are the muscles. I've only shown you one set of muscles. There are muscles all around. And if you don't move, the muscles turn to fat. Fatty infiltration. But all the doctors will talk to you about the disc, about whether they are worn out or not. But wearing out is not the problem. It is the muscle that matters. Everyone will wear out. You could describe me as an old, bald-headed grey man. You could also just, that's not a false description. Same way, my disc will be 56 years of age. It can't be a baby disc. Or your disc will be your age. It cannot be a baby disc. If your skin was baby skin and if your disc was baby spine, then I want to know what you're eating and what cream you're applying. I need to use that quickly. I'm a bit late. So our disc will show the age. So it's not unnatural to have some more of this. This is a young girl
And you can see she's got a disc product cross section. This is the disc, it has bulged out. Can you see that? So she's got a disc product. These dots are the nerves within the canal. So she's got severe left-sided leg pain. And you can see she's got fat infiltration. You go to a doctor, he may tell you you need an operation. But this lady did not have an operation. I've just shown all the muscles. She didn't have an operation. You can see that there is fat infiltration. She wanted to do exercise, core exercise build up, and within a year, the disc has gone back and this muscle has built up in strength naturally, not with an operation. Because the body has the ability, the disc that come out, the body has the ability to eat it off, auto-digestion. So the body's warrior cells can eat off the disc that comes outside. So why operate if it does it itself? Yes, in some situations, I'm not saying always, in some situations you need to, but in quite a lot of situations you don't need to, and actually you can do more harm. And I'll show you some examples later. This is on the 60-year-old. She's got a small disc body. Look at the fat infiltration. The millennials, they are texting. They don't throw, they are sitting. Computer games, they don't run out to the playground. This is what happens. And then they say they have back pain. And when I see them in the clinic, I have a 20-year-old with me, they have back pain. I do a plank with them, and I beat them. I am 56 years old, I beat them. I say, are you young or am I young? You know, at 20 years, they should be strong enough to do a plank. I'm not doing an arm wrestling with them, I'm doing a plank with them. They should have the strength. The muscle in the back should be able to support their spine. So showing the fat in the MRI scan is a game changer. People get, yes, this is what we need to do. But our thinking process itself may need to be changed. Like supportive seating. We think if you have back pain, you need a lot of supportive seating, and that is what the general rule is. But I don't know. Yes, this looks very comfortable. You are in a deck chair, sipping away gin and tonic. But actually, your discs are not moving. So the gin and tonic is harming your liver, and because you're not moving, it is harming your discs. So yes, some chair, this is what we were told to as a child. You need to sit like this. But actually, sitting like this takes away the normal curve. The lumbar curve is a lordosis, that is, the lower back should be bent this way, not like this. But if you sit like this, the lower back is bent. Whereas if you sit like this, and all of us did as children, naturally we did this. We were told off by our parents, and we told off our kids when they sat like that. But that was the right way to sit, because they are recreating their lumbar lordosis. So ideally you need stools on which, or saddle chairs, which you need to sit like that. And actually, so this is the ideal seating position and not this. So in a horse, when you ride the natural transport, you sit like that. This is God's given transport, you sit like that. And actually, horse riding is one of the ways to take away back pain. These two research articles show how horse riding, because on a horse you're constantly doing like this. Your muscles have to work. When your muscles are working, they are strong. Because we are like a tent. We are not the tent pole alone that keeps us up, but the guidelines. The guidelines and the muscles, they need to be strong to keep the vertebral body up. And by rocking on the horse, the muscles are exercised. Again, Cochrane database for hip arthritis, there is evidence that exercise helps. I want to just skip over there. Again, knee osteoarthritis, there is evidence that exercise will help. And I have to tell you, I run exercise classes too in Southwood. I live in Southwood, which is a suburb of Liverpool. I run exercise classes, and I'll show you. I run the Otago exercise program. The Otago exercise, what is that? Otago is a place in New Zealand. It is in south of New Zealand, where the South Island, it's near, Otago is the area, it's Dunedin. That's where the Otago University is. Professor Campbell devised a set of exercises called the Otago exercise program. And these are my patients or participants who participated in my exercise class. This is good for arthritis of the knee. You can see their ankle weights. So you got to put 1 kilogram weight. If you have home bargains, you'll get a pair of weights for 1 kilogram for 3 pounds, the cheapest. I have no shares in home bargains, just telling you the information. So for the weights, this is one exercise. Then there are hamstring exercises. You stand and bend your knee backwards. And there are different exercises. You can get the entire Otago program if you want. I will send you, but you can download it online. Sit and stand. Basically, it prevents falling. 1/3 of falls are prevented by just doing the Otago exercise program. Also, I'm doing some research now to see how Otago exercise program helps arthritis. Again, when you're doing exercise, when the old age, Should you do crossword puzzles or should you do exercises to prevent dementia? Exercise. It's not the crossword puzzle. It's exercise prevents dementia, not the crossword puzzle. And again, this evidence shows that. And this is the vicious cycle. You have pain, you fail to move, the muscles become weak, less support and more pain. You want to convert that vicious cycle into a victorious cycle. You have pain, you continue to move, stronger muscles, more support and less pain. But it's difficult. That is where we need to move into. Now coming to family and friends. Yes, it is good to have a partner, but it is good to have children. This shows that if you have children, you live longer. This research in Sweden, they looked at all the people who were born between 1911 and 1925. So if you have children, you live longer. Wait for the news. So these are the 4 graphs. The first one here, the earliest death is for men who don't have children. The next line is for men who have children. Women live longer than men. You must understand, women are biologically superior to men. 100%. There's no doubt. Yeah, sorry. The third line is the women who didn't have children, and the last line is women who had children. So women who have children live longest. And more important, look at this. This study showed that having adopted children also actually makes you live longer than having your own children. So there is a choice. If you cannot have your children, have adopted children, and you will live longer. There's a lot of evidence to suggest that. And when you help someone, you live longer than when you take help. So do good unto others. You live longer. There is definite evidence to suggest this. So next, coming to our purpose, ikigai. Ikigai is the reason for being. 75-year-old comes to my clinic. What do you do today? What are you doing tomorrow? Oh, what am I doing tomorrow? I don't know. There's no purpose. Oh no, tomorrow I've got my job in my voluntary center. I'm cancer research. I'm doing a shop for them, or I'm singing in the carol in church. Something. There is a purpose. There is an ikigai. It is important. You should have. People who retire later live longer. People who retire earlier live less. So what's the point if you win the lottery and die the next day? It would be a big waste. It would be good for your children, but it's a big waste for you. So ikigai. So how to find out ikigai? That's the graph it showed. Find out what will give you. If happiness was a currency, what would you do? That's step 1. And yes, the biggest problem in the world is fear. Just like kinesiophobia, that's fear. Oh, what if I give up my job and start something? I'll have failure. Oh, I better not do that. I'll stick on to this job so I don't like it. No, if you have a calling, do it. It is important. Yes, but when you take action, you're likely to fail. That is true. But what failure doesn't mean you're failed. It only means you have not yet succeeded. You need to try to work till you get your ikigai. Take more action. Like a friend of mine, I'll tell you his ikigai. He was suddenly into cricket. He was cricket crazy. I know a little bit of cricket, but he was cricket crazy. And he said he's going to develop on cricket. He would follow every match, test match, and he started writing, having a blog on cricket. But he was not getting anywhere. So that was, if you go back to the slides. Oh, sorry. So that was he was good at, and that was his love. So that was his passion. But the world didn't want it. So your ikigai is what the world wants and what you can get paid for. So within your sphere of influence, what can you get paid for and what the world needs. So he was writing about cricket, people didn't like it. He was not getting any money. Then he started writing, actually, he started developing an interest in writing. And he got into a company which were manufacturing products, and he could write their catalog and their product literature. And suddenly he had a job, he was successful, and he was getting promotions in the company, getting a pay rise. So he suddenly, because of his interest in writing about cricket, he developed that ikigai. So then he's getting paid. So that someone, you need to find your ikigai. Even if you're old, you need to find your ikigai. So telomeres, a little bit on telomeres. Telomeres are the ends of your chromosomes. The chromosomes are your books in each of your cells, which tells your genetic material you pass on to your children. The telomere length is important. So if you're having senescence, we're becoming old, the chromosome becomes shorter and shorter. So the ends of the chromosomes are called telomeres, like your caps on your shoelaces. It prevents damage to the shoelaces. But as you become old, the telomeres drop off, and after this point, the cells don't multiply. So you have to have lot of telomere or telomerase enzyme which maintains the telomeres. And this research shows that actually if you meditate, you are maintaining your increased level of telomerase than if you don't. So how, Ikigai and meditation helps. Okay? Again here, purpose and life expectancy. This is a very interesting research, and it shows that if you will die less if you have a purpose. This was done in Sweden. This was done in Akita. I'm so sorry. This was done in Akita in Japan. They were asked, 3,000 people were asked 2 questions. Do you experience a sense of purpose? Definitely yes, fairly or no. And they were asked also about their stress levels. Extremely high. You would think if you had stress or if you had a purpose, you would have a greater stress. That's what they wanted to find out. And they followed the patients for 14 years. And this is the graph. Sorry, I hope it is not. Let me skip this graph. Let me go to the next graph. I don't want to bore you too much. All the blue, this is the men, these are the women. Okay? You can see that is a purpose. So if you have a high purpose, your chance of dying is less. Whereas if you have a low purpose, your chance of dying is more. In 14 years, before the 14 years, they were asked, do you have a purpose? If they said yes, and it was age controlled, then their chance of survival was greater. So of 100 people, if they had no purpose, they would all die. But of the 100 people, if they had a purpose, 58 wouldn't die. So having a purpose gives you longevity. It's important you're doing something. Last, rest and sleep. These are the stages of sleep. When you go to bed, you go to NREM, and then you go to rapid eye movement. Rapid eye movement is when you have dreams. These are early stages of sleep. You don't have a restful sleep, stage 3 and 4. So you need to get stage 3 and 4 if you have to have a restful sleep. A lot of work has been done in patients in ICU. Because in ICU, you must understand, you are trying to recover your life. You are in a very critical stage, but you don't get good sleep because there is things happening to you, things happening around you, so you are floating between these. So there is now increasing because in trying to get rest for sleep for people who are in ICU. So it is important we get here. How does sleep work? Sleep works naturally by the cycle of light. When light dims, there is a signal from the brain to the suprachiasmatic nucleus, and that tells the pineal gland to secrete a hormone called the melatonin. Not melanin for the skin, melatonin. And melatonin is a sleep hormone. But it has to become dark, and when it is dark, that's when the melatonin goes. But as soon as we discovered the electrical light, we could make night into daylight. So we have effects because of the electrical light. So there is a relationship between sleep and obesity. So highly strung, you don't sleep less, you will become obese. Same way, and that's partly from increased ghrelin. Sorry, I'm conscious of time, so I'll just skip. Again, sleep and immune. There's a lot of chronic inflammation if you sleep less. And how do you get better sleep instead of taking tablets? Let me give you a simple solution. Pistachio nuts. Pistachio nuts has melatonin. Pistachio nuts has melatonin. 10 pistachio nuts will give you enough melatonin for the night. So if you are on a flight, you have a jet lag, or you want to sleep at night, yes,
Did you
sorry.
say 10?
10. Yeah, just 10, or you can even less. 10 is,
Are they naturally rich in melatonin?
Yeah, they're actually rich in melatonin.
Not something that converts to melatonin.
I don't know whether it's a precursor which converts to melatonin. Yeah, I wouldn't know, yeah. But it will make melatonin in your body. Yeah. So pistachio nuts, and I've had patients who have taken pistachio nuts. I've taken pistachio nuts, and when I take on a journey on a flight, I take 10 pistachio nuts, and that gives me this good sleep. When I say all this, I'm not trying to preach, but all what we are saying is like religion, isn't it? Do good to others, and that's what, I'm not here to give you a spiritual talk. I believe, and I'll give you a little story. I did not know, and all this is sort of in a church. You meet people, you hug people, there is a lot of CBT there. Now I'll tell you a little story. Okay, and I don't know whether God made the world or evolution made the world. That's too complex. I don't understand that. But I'll tell you, a lot of my patients who are out and down, they survive by believing a supernatural power. 2 days ago, I had a lady in my clinic. She was a drug addict. She was a high-level executive in London. She became a drug addict and out. But she has now gone into Narcotics Anonymous. She came to for back pain, and she tells me, God has a purpose for me, for her. So hear the story. I do not know, this is not a biblical story, but hear the story. And it's important. There was a man who was an entrepreneur. He decided to invest in a business. He invested, he lost everything. He decided life was not worth living. He had a young family, but he had lost everything of his family's. So he decided he had to take his life off. So he went to the park, sat down, and whole life was going in front of his eyes like a slideshow. He was going to end it, but just he had a slideshow in front. Suddenly an old man comes to him, shakes his hand, sits on the park bench with him and starts talking to him. And this young man tells him a story. The old man says, well, I'm very impressed. I've got some wealth. I want to invest in your company. I'm going to give you some money. Takes his checkbook from his pocket, writes a huge check, puts it into an envelope and gives to the young man. Says, take it, use it for your business. I trust. Whenever you make money, give it back. If you don't, it doesn't matter. I've got enough wealth. The young man is completely, he can't believe someone has done this. He goes to his office. He says, well, I'm not going to die. This man has, believed in me. I'm going to work. He takes that envelope, takes the check, keeps it. I'm not going to use it till the last bit. I'm now going to work. He starts from scratch again. And slowly, day by day, he builds up his business. And now he's a happy man. He says, well, I need to go and meet this old man in the park again. I need to thank him. I've not gone back to the park for 2 years. So I've not gone to the park for 2 years. So he goes to the park in search of the old man. He can't find the old man. He waits and waits. Suddenly, towards twilight evening, late evening, he sees the old man running towards him. He's so happy. He gets up to greet the old man. As he gets up, behind the old man is a nurse. And nurse asks this young man, hope this old gentleman has not been offering you money. He has got dementia. He keeps offering false money. That false belief made him go forward. Even if God doesn't exist, if you have that positivity, it is good, isn't it? So allow natural healing, avoid surgery. I'll show you some examples. This is a young girl, 20-year-old girl with a large disc prolapse. This is an MRI of her spine. You can see these are the discs. This is a bad disc, but this even bad disc, you can see it was prolapsed out. Yeah, which is shown in red. A year later, completely resolved without surgery. And you can see again another gentleman. The same. So this had become this, and she is a university student, and this is the girl. And she returned to playing hockey in university level. This is another gentleman, 40 to 45-year-old. He's got a disc prolapse here. A year later, that's his cross section. You can see the disc prolapse. A year later, completely gone again. And his on cross section gone again. This is a lady, 45, 46. You can see a huge, this is the neck. So that's the brain. This is continuation of the spinal cord. Blocks of bones, the vertebrae. In between the blocks of the cushion to the intervertebral disc. You can see such a big disc. Can you see that? On the cross section pressing on the spinal cord. Yep. So this is the bulge, and the spinal cord is compressed. Yep. After a year, completely gone. Naturally healing. So we need to build up the muscles. The muscles are the soldiers. So in your spine, so you need to build up those muscles. It's important. And plank is one, and I do the plank with my patients, as I told you. There's a young dancer who the legs were good, the arms were good, but not her core. Now injections, I don't like injections also, they are steroid. They actually weaken the structure. The steel in our body is called collagen. The steroid directly harms the collagen. So again, no more discussing slides if you want. Failed back surgery syndrome, that's what happens. 1 in 5 spinal surgeries fail. They will lead to more disaster. As I told you, and it is the costliest painful condition to treat. So here, and again, doctors sometimes, they're being taught how to do operations. They want to do that. You know, and if you give someone a hammer, he wants to use the hammer, and that's exactly how this lady doesn't have a lot of this, but some doctor decided she needed a big plate and all those screws in her neck. In UK, not in Timbuktu, in UK, that's a plate from the front of the neck. So here is a disc which has resolved. But people like Harry Potter, they want magic, they think magic is there. But there is no magic, it is slow getting better. There is no Harry Potter magic in that. It is the 5-star, little bit by bit you need to get better using all these principles and other principles that I've told you. Just to recap, you need, if you have burgers, less fiber. If you have less fiber, there's less of good bugs, more of bad bugs, and the bad bugs will increase, they will go into your system, initiate your immune system to fight, and it will fight with your joints, and you will have arthritis, or with your, again, fat infiltration. So it's important that you're exercising your back muscles. You need to have family and friends. We showed by this how if you had family you would live longer, and how if you had a purpose you would live longer. So it's important. Melatonin, I told you how this captured nuts. And the most important thing is on hotel, how do we check out? So it's important. Hope I've given you some. These are the websites I have, and you're free to. I will be around. I will have to just disappear to my hotel to get your books, but I should thank you and thanks.
George's presentation was so amazing, it had to carry on just that little bit longer. Our lovely friend Emily Lynch who did have Flower Power a couple of years ago, you might remember her, she made some beautiful cakes for nothing at my house yesterday, and she spent hours and hours doing it. She couldn't make it tonight, which I think was fine. But they're all over there. There should be one each. I'm not sure how many people are here. I think we've made about 100. The sweet potato brownies are the only gluten-free ones, just so you know. And also Heidi over there is doing some smoothie bits and pieces. And we'll see you all back in about 25 minutes.